like, is it really be possible to take the patterns of the semantic SEO and use any of your app to get the things done more quicker and easier?
Is he has different names for everything? Like he'll call a meta description a contextual connection or something like that.
Semantic SEO. Wherever you see on LinkedIn, you go to the Facebook profiles, you go to the networking, everyone's just talking about the semantic SEO.
So there's a difference to me between semantic SEO and Corey's framework.
Shopify kind of a stuff, or is that their own custom built coded stuff?
For yeah, big commerce is like modern compared to some of the things I've worked on.
When it comes to code, you know, like from where the data has to come, where the data has to get feed, and what kind of output I really need. Hello and welcome to the Agency Growth Lab. I'm your host Rohindu, and today we are thrilled to have a very special guest joining us. Jonathan Boshoff, a renowned expert in digital marketing and the mastermind behind creating amazing AI-powered SEO tools and hosting most of them for free for his fans. So Jonathan is here today to share his inside experiences with us. So yeah, welcome to the show, Jonathan. How are you?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Rohin. Thanks for having me. Doing great.
Yeah. No, it's a privilege to have you up here, man. I've been watching your stuff, watching your videos, and I tried a few of your given tools as well. And the best part is that they are free, no subscription at the moment. But I don't know. I don't know why you're not just running them behind some kind of a subscription, because they are very good data mining tools, what I've seen. But yeah, definitely we're gonna talk about that very soon too. So yeah, so Jonathan, I mean, like really quickly, if you can get us know about your technical background, because it seems like you are pretty techy, and how did you get started in SEO?
Sure, yeah. So I got started in 2012
Ooh,
making WordPress websites for small local businesses.
yeah,
So my first client was a tattoo shop. Second one was like a small restaurant. It wasn't even a chain.
yeah,
So that's kind of how I got started. And it's ultimately what led to me having a little bit of technical expertise, because if you spend enough time on WordPress, you have to learn about like databases and
oh yeah,
PHP and all that stuff and HTML and CSS. So that's how I kind of got started, and also like hosting websites, servers, and all that stuff. So
yeah,
that starting with building the websites gave me a really good foundation into SEO, because it always made me more comfortable with
yeah.
the more technical side of things,
I can
even
imagine.
though I've never really learned how to code a single language. Like, can kind of read it, can kind
Yeah,
of type some of it. But if you held a gun to my head and asked me to like write a Python script or even like write CSS at this
yeah.
point, I probably would not make it.
No,
um,
I was actually going to ask you the same thing. I mean, like I can see a few of the Python scripts you have written as well. So, and it's pretty amazing actually. I don't know how did you do that?
yeah, they're all just with ChatGPT, so just prompt engineering.
Oh yeah.
Um, it turns out that like once you familiarize yourself with how to do it, it's not super complicated.
Is that
Like basically it's just a lot of back and forth, and I just feed it error messages like, oh, it didn't do what we thought. I got this error message, and it's like, oh, I know what to do. Let me fix that. I
oh
just do
yeah.
that over and over again.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. But still, you need a bit of a techie mind, of course, to code these kind of things. And like you said, have to go through all those prompt engineering and that kind of thing as well. Because when it comes to code, you know, like from where the data has to come, where the data has to get feed, and what kind of output I really need. So there is a bit of juggle around. So now, if you, like you say, you doesn't know coding and you're still creating those kind of a tools, then trust me, it's a hats off to you, man, for it. Now, tell me something about your agency, Jonathan. I mean, like, what kind of SEO agency you've got? What kind of clients do you have? Kind of an idea. I mean,
Sure, yeah. So mostly just do consulting,
yep.
and I honestly don't really work with that many clients anymore. I used to do a lot of freelancing, and I would take on pretty much any kind of client that I could.
Oh,
These
yeah.
days I'm much more picky because I only have time for a few people here and there.
Yeah.
Um, I do spend the majority of my time just doing like, other than my day-to-day work, I do like this AI stuff.
Yep.
That's my interests and my hobby. But I mostly work with B2B SaaS companies
Yep.
as well as e-commerce companies.
Yep. Yeah. So, and is that Shopify kind of a stuff, or is that their own custom built coded stuff you mean to say?
I mean, at this point, I would like to work with Shopify
Yeah.
people, but it always ends up being like some custom built
Oh yeah.
website that's on like a 10-year-old infrastructure. And I don't know why, but like all of the larger e-commerce sites are kind of built on those older infrastructures.
Yeah,
None
yeah.
of them are on like Shopify yet.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's again like where the technical background comes in handy, because if you're going to work on some 10-year-old framework, like not even like Magento, or
Yeah.
sorry,
Big commerce merchant. Yep.
or yeah, big
Yep.
commerce is like modern compared to some of the things I've worked on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can imagine. But I'll definitely have few things in my mind regarding Shopify as well. I guess you're here today, and let's talk about automations because that's what your background. That's something I guess you love doing as well. But before we get into that one, there are few overrated terms I've seen, and I know they are very important, but in SEO, one of them these days, semantic SEO. Wherever you see on LinkedIn, you go to the Facebook profiles, you go to the networking, everyone's just talking about the semantic SEO, the core framework, and all that kind of thing. So, what's your thoughts about that? What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. I really like semantic
Yep,
SEO.
yep,
So there's a difference to me between semantic SEO and Corey's framework.
yep,
So semantic SEO has been around for a long time, going back to like the Google patents and things like that, but nobody really was grabbing the mic and getting really well known for semantic SEO. Corey's
yep.
like the first to really
Well,
go for it.
yeah, yeah,
Um, his framework is a lot to learn, a lot to take in,
yep,
but there's a lot of like sound logic behind it.
yep,
The only thing that is tricky for me is he has different names for everything. Like he'll call a meta description a contextual connection or something like that.
yep, yep, yep.
So there's a lot of really well-known industry jargon like title
Okay.
tags, meta descriptions, and he doesn't use any of that. So you have to kind of like learn the new language that he's using and then be like, contextual vector. Oh yeah, that's title tag. You have to like translate a little bit.
It sometimes be easy to make a room in the crowded market by giving the new nomenclature to the thing sometimes, but no, there is no doubt about that. The core is a smart guy. I purchased the course, but I watched like a couple of videos. I thought like, hey, maybe if I go and do it, I probably can do it myself because I've been from the engineering background. It could be easy for me to understand these kind of logics. But um, then I think of like a big pool of projects we've been running in our agency, and then the teams who gonna spend that much amount of a time to actually do run around creating all those vectors and that kind of thing, nodes and vectors. So yeah, that's the biggest problem. I'll tell you what the most of the people are facing, and that takes me to the question with the app which you created, the content brief and that kind of things. Tell me, like, is it really be possible? And just an honest answer. I'm like, is it really be possible to take the patterns of the semantic SEO and use any of your app to get the things done more quicker and easier.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the tools that I've built that is more well known is a topical map generator.
Yep,
And a lot of people have built some kind of topical map generator, but mine is mostly just like a brainstorming tool. Like it takes those initial inputs from Corey's framework on creating a topical map.
yep,
And all it's really going to do is get you started, like give you the essential categories that your site should have, like the essential topics.
yep.
And then after that, it's pretty much up to you to build it out from there.
Oh
And
yeah,
I do have like the next steps and the what to do after that,
yep,
all like documented.
yep,
But you can only automate so much of it, especially with topical maps, because at some point you have to really get in there, review every topic and make sure that it's right for you. So if you just generate like thousands of topics and then turn it into content briefs and publish it all with AI, like it's all possible.
Yeah.
But you should really like proceed with caution, because not all of it's going to be relevant or something that's worth making. So no matter how automated you can get it, it's still going to have a lot of like manual review, revising, editing, curation, improving.
I
You can't
completely.
escape that.
Yeah, no, and did you actually try to test those the content brief and the topical clusters which your tool actually created the on a Streamlight or Moonlight something? And then did you try to test the content for that one? How did that content actually go? Did it rank really well in Google? How quicker that actually got ranked? Or if you tried that thing on an existing content, how was the improvement?
Yeah, so it's really depends, because with the topical map and the AI generated content and all that stuff, I'm actually still working on that process.
Yep,
So I've only recently completed the process of going from a topical map into content briefs and then automating the content brief creation at
yep,
scale.
yep,
Like I just cracked that last week, and now
yep.
I'm on to generating the content. So I haven't really got to a place where I've like created a topical map, created the content briefs, and then made all the content for it, and then see how it performs.
How it
So
performed.
that's where I'm going next, and probably within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have content on a couple different websites to test it out and see how it does.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, let's take a hypothetical scenario, Jonathan. So let's say there is a kind of a niche. Let's say a dentistry is a niche as an example. So how can we go about using the right kind of a tools and to get the keyword research done, build topical clusters, and publish the kind of an articles which can bring us a traffic? What do you think? I'm like, do you have kind of a process in place? Using maybe your apps, using maybe the different one. For example, GSA. We know like we can hook up the GSA, all the keywords, and then we can use the topical clusters to actually go and build a topical clusters for it. So maybe like we can see, okay, similarities. So there are 15 keywords which sit under the same SERP similarity. Now, let's say I've created the topical cluster that way. So what is the process after that? Because a lot of people do actually get stuck when it comes to that kind of things.
Yeah, that is a really good point. So clustering is a real pain, because there's so many, everybody has a different interpretation of what clustering is and what a cluster should look like. And a lot of the time, clustering usually turns out to be some sort of grammatical exercise. Like all of these keywords have similar variations, so they
Yeah.
must all be part of the same cluster. And what I've learned recently is that's not actually the best way to do it, because when you do that, you end up with like really programmatic content, and you're going to make like 100 pages and only 10 of them are going to really perform well, and the rest were just kind of duds.
Yeah.
um, so what I've done recently is basically like SERP based keyword clustering.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my list of keywords, and it can be hundreds or thousands of keywords, and all I do is pull the top 10 title tags and URLs for each keyword. So just you take a keyword, it searches Google, pulls the results,
Yep.
does that over and over again. And then you can just like segment it like in Google Sheets on a pivot table.
Yep.
And this could probably be a more elegant software.
Yep.
We just make a pivot table, and then you can see the number one result for each keyword, and you can group it into pages.
Yep.
So then you'll see that there's a way wider range of keywords that these pages are ranking for.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's not necessarily what you would have grouped it into if you had done the traditional like
Yep.
grammatical clustering.
Yep. Yep.
So what Google ranks can be a much wider range of keywords versus what you would cluster in like any clustering tool that's
Yep.
available today.
Yep. So that really goes up to the clustering point. So let's say we use that similarity approach where you're just the tool is fetching out the top 10 results, try to cluster out and putting out together like same kind of results are ranking, and then we can cluster it out. So what's the step after that is? So because for every topic, now we have got, let's say we feed around like 5,000 keywords, it just clustered out everything. And then now for every topic, we have got 100 keywords sitting next to them. Now, what is your process after that would be to create a kind of a detailed article which can actually cover some kind of those kind of keywords as well without actually changing the entire context. And that brings me to your second tool, which is content brief generator.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is take the top keyword for every one of those clusters. You just need something to go off of. And to me, the top keyword is just whichever one has the highest search volume. That's usually like the big parent keyword, and everything else is
Yep.
some kind of variation.
Yep.
And then I'm going to take the top 3 URLs that are ranking for that top keyword. And I'm
So
going to use that
that
as my
that
input
takes
for
me
creating the
to
content brief.
that takes me to this particular screen I was playing around this morning. So you're saying
Okay,
for every single cluster, we're gonna bring in, so example, this is a one, how to cure gum diseases, basically, without a dentist. So this is probably gonna be, let's say I've created the clustering gave me 100 topic ideas, and for every topic idea, there are about like 15 keywords or 20 keywords or maybe 100 keywords. So we're gonna pick the main primary keyword up here, and then we're gonna scrape the content from the page 1, paste it up here, URL 2 and URL 3. Is that right? Or did I miss
correct.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
And
about
that's the text version, so you'd have to copy paste the whole text. I'd made that one for pages that are hard to scrape.
yeah,
Um, but what that AI will do is it's going to figure out what are all the main topics that those pages are talking about. And then
yeah,
it's going to break it down into a structured content brief like that. So now you know, like, what are the headings that I need? What are the subheadings that I need? And then it's got a whole bunch of other like nice to haves in it as well. Like, here's some keyword ideas, some entity ideas,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff like that.
yeah. So all those EAT ideas and FAQs and even the external link ideas and that kind of thing is coming up here as well. And this is all dynamic as well. It is just this stuff is getting generated based on what we are feeding up here. Is that right, Jonathan?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So up to this particular point, we are pretty sure like this is something we need to go after. This is H2s, H3s kind of an approach. Although it doesn't really, yeah, it is up here as well. That how much the word count something we needed as well. So this is pretty solid information up to that particular point we have got. And all this information, does that take in consideration all the semantic SEO concepts as well?
Uh, that's harder to say because I haven't learned all this
Yeah.
semantic SEO concepts.
Oh yeah.
Uh, what I can say is there's a reason that those top 3 pages are ranking.
Yes.
One of them could be because of the type of content they're covering.
Yes.
And this gives you those essentials of like this isn't like the recipe to make the best page on the internet or in the
Yep.
world. This
Yep.
is just a recipe for like what's the starting point? Like, where
Yep.
should I what kind of topics are so important that everybody's talking about them, that if
Yep.
I don't talk about them too, I'm
Yep.
basically shooting myself in the foot. That's what this kind of
Gotcha.
solves.
Yep. Gotcha. So up to this particular point, our keyword research has been done, our topical clustering has been done, our content brief has been done, and the final thing which comes out is the article generation itself. So is there any particular kind of a tool which you prefer be sitting in the market at the moment where you have seen the output is much more better because there is obviously a prompt engineering sitting behind that as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of tools out there that can make content briefs. Two
Yep.
of the ones that I've seen that I really like, one of them is Through, so THRUUU,
Yes, I
and
wrote that. Yep.
all it does is this, but much more accurately.
Yep.
So with this one, it's free to use and stuff, but
Yep.
you're relying on an AI to give you everything.
Yep.
Whereas through is a much more like hard-coded process to actually like scrape the topics and do like keyword research on them and all that stuff.
Oh,
So, it's not free to use,
yep,
but if you're like, I like these content briefs, but I want something that's a little more built out, a little more thorough,
yep,
probably like something like Through would be good.
yep,
And then I've also used another tool called SEO Wind. So
okay,
that is a tool that can also create briefs and write content. And it's a similar process, like it's scraping search results,
yep,
figuring out what topics they use, but it is more customizable. Like you can pick the subtopics you want, you can take them out before it even makes it into the brief.
okay,
So both of those are like more premium tools, but
yep,
definitely like more customizable, a little more reliable data.
yep,
This is just like the quick and dirty AI only method.
yep. Gotcha. And let's talk about this particular one before we come to the more detailed SEO stuff. So EEAT, I know like you got a tool for this as well. In fact, I used the same tool and created all these ones. So it's for the people who doesn't know, it's eatchecker.com. That's a pretty fabulous one. We can give the topic and then it can just scrape the page, I guess, in the background to give us all the details. Now, a lot of data is sitting up here. No doubt about that. Now, to put the data on the page, obviously there is a thing where it says, okay, this is where you need to go, and this is where you need to go and start making the changes as well. But did you try to actually create any kind of like a automated system to apply these changes on the real page as well? Or maybe I'm asking a question, a
Yeah.
irrelevant question. So yeah.
Yeah. So I've built tools that do that. Like they have an EEAT analysis stage. So
Right.
it's all automated. Like it'll go from writing the content and then doing an EEAT analysis on itself and then revising it.
Yep.
The
Yep.
problem there is that if the EAT analysis is like change these 10 things
Yep.
and then it gives it to another AI and the AI is like, got it. It's only going to do like one or two of those things and be like,
Oh, yeah.
I did it. So there's parts of AI that aren't perfectly reliable.
Yep.
But what I've found is a really good workaround for that is you can use Perplexity. So
Yep.
there's a Perplexity API now.
Yep.
So if you're working with automated tools,
Yep.
you can use the Perplexity API. And I
Yep.
get mine through the tool there, the platform that I build all my tools on, which is Moonlit.
Yep.
So it has the Perplexity chat model.
Yep.
And then I give it 4 different tasks in the content generation process. So, and the tasks are find expert quotes about this topic,
Yep.
find statistics about this topic, find case studies about this topic, and find firsthand experiences about this topic. So when I hit run, it shoots all 4 of those Perplexity tasks, and it'll simultaneously do the research on all of them. And then I can feed that into the content generation. And that's how you get like natural and accurate, like quotes, case studies, all that stuff just built right into the content on the first run, and I literally only figured that out like last night.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very happy with it, but I haven't like put it out there into the world yet.
Oh yeah. No. So you say like go and find the experts for it, case studies for it, statistics for it. And what was the fourth one?
Firsthand experiences.
First
So
tennis.
somebody who actually like did the thing or tried the thing or like can share their actual experiences, not just like, because the huge problem with SEO content out there in the world today is it's kind of like written from the perspective of a business talking to a group,
Yep.
and it's very dry.
Yep.
What people want these days is like one person talking to you directly. That
Yep.
that has a much more like resonating tone. It's easier to read. People like it more. But it's way harder to make that kind of content with AI.
Yeah, agree to this. But what you reckon up to this particular point? I guess if you have created a tool, there is a lot of study you might have done on the EEAT factors as well. So the people who doesn't know much about EEAT, that all comes out to the expertise, experience, authority, and trustfulness. So what is your thoughts overall? What are the key components a page should be having, you reckon, to meet these kind of EEAT factors?
Yeah, that's a good question. So firsthand experience is the biggest one. for an on-page level.
Yep.
With the reason why is because with AI generated content, firsthand experience becomes much more rare. That like cold business to audience content
Yep.
is already scaled to the moon.
Yep.
What's become almost unicorn rare is content written from real firsthand experiences.
Yep.
And as like AI and LLMs continue, we're going to need more of that to feed the algorithms, because we
Yep.
can't just, if they went out there and scraped all of the Google search results again to make like the next language model, it would
Yes.
mostly be scraping AI generated content built on like GPT 3.5 and stuff.
Yes.
So there's like a law of diminishing return, so that they really need firsthand experience and expertise in order to train like the future algorithms. So
Mm.
to me, that's kind of why it makes sense that if you're using those things in your content, you're kind of future proofing your websites, because in the like Google is going to want to rank that stuff better. I'd say right now today Google doesn't really know how to rank EEAT significantly better than other types of content, and this is like on an on-page level, because there's preceding factors that are more powerful. Like today, if you have a bunch of internal links, that can be more powerful than having really good like EEAT on your page. Same
Exactly.
with backlinks. If you have a lot of high authority backlinks, the more of those you have, like really the less that the page level stuff matters. Like if you have your keywords right and your outline is good and you have a ton of backlinks, you're pretty much good to go.
Yep.
So EEAT is really like, it's the last level of like all the many different ranking factors. Like if you had two pages that were exactly the same, they had the same amount of backlinks, same amount of like internal links, same like authority scores and all that stuff, but one of them had amazing EEAT and the other one didn't, the amazing EEAT one is going to rank better. And that might actually just be because it's more engaging,
Yep.
because at that point Google is looking at like time on page type stuff, like returns to search, good clicks, bad
Yep.
clicks,
Yep.
stuff that was leaked from the algorithm.
Yep.
So that might be the
Yeah.
kicker, is
So
that
first-hand
the
experience could be gonna add the experience kind of a thing, and then the authority, all those high-power backlinks. You reckon that can actually build out a lot of authority in itself? I guess with when it comes to expertise, or expertise is more kind of what kind of certifications and everything is got, whoever one is performing the task. And T, trustfulness is a come from reviews, you reckon? Testimonials, reviews, and maybe Google actually collect the third party signals as well, which means like crawling up for that particular business on Yelp, checking out the reviews over there, and even the Trustpilot kind of an approach as well. You reckon that they take all this kind of information in consideration?
so I'd say that brand mentions and reviews and stuff are getting more important. It's kind of like the new backlinks,
Yep.
but authority and trust today is mostly backlinks.
Yeah, yeah, no, it makes sense. So in that industry, like there are two type of people. One of them, they say like, hey, the AI content is great to work with. We love it. Just gives us a lot of insightful data and all that. And there are second type of people who say, oh, AI content is shit. It just slaps our website down. We didn't make it. And they can't really write it down in SEO helpful content update kind of an approach. And so Google doesn't love it. No point to actually write that. What do you what do you say about that?
Yeah, that's probably like the biggest slap that Google has done in a long time, is slapping all these like AI content sites
Yeah.
off of the
March,
search results.
a March update was really a crazy one.
Yeah, there was a lot of beheadings. Like they were doing public beheadings. Like we have like they were like some of those big sites that were getting millions of traffic from AI generated content. They
Yeah,
literally like just de-index them manually, and they were like, "Look,
yeah.
they're dead. Behave, be good." Um, so that's a big part of it, was like the fear side of things. Like
Yep.
um, Google knows how to make people afraid of whatever tactic they're up to these days.
Yeah.
Uh, so I will say that when done correctly, AI content still does really well. And I actually know multiple websites that make like millions of dollars with AI generated content.
Yeah, yeah.
So if somebody told me it doesn't work, you'll tank your website, I would just say, yeah,
They,
you're
they,
wrong.
they didn't put much
um,
effort in building out the content, basically. I guess, Jonathan, the basics has never been changed. The basics was always the same, no matter what. We were back in 2012, no matter, it was a lot more easy at that time. I started in 2012 as well. So, and today, even today, everything is the same. It's just like a different nomenclature, maybe, and it's more about garbage in is garbage out. So with the AI, it depends on if you're just going to chat GPT. I guess if you're writing down, hey, create me a 500 words article on how to fix a roof, then obviously the output would be different rather than the way which you mentioned to create, look at the top results because Google has already given a love to them, and then create a content brief, and then based on that content brief go and generate an article which has all those statistics in hand, experience, and even the case studies and all that kind of things. I guess this is where it really makes a difference, and answer to the people who say the AI content is shit, or maybe the AI content is the best way to go. Even the humans can't really write it down in that much more details, isn't it?
well, so there's two areas that people, maybe three, that people really overlook when it
Yeah,
comes to AI generated content.
yeah,
And this is where it's so easy for Google to kill it.
yeah.
And then it hurts your helpful content score and then hurts your site overall. Those two areas, number one is updating content.
Yep.
So if content is not maintained or updated, after at least like probably a year would be a good time frame. It could be shorter, could be longer,
Yep.
depends on the type of content. But let's just say it's a year and Google detects there's been no changes on that page, it's going to start to not favor it. And depending on how active the SERPs are for those specific search terms, it could be a shorter time frame or a longer time frame. Probably depends a lot on like how active the other competitors are. Like if everybody's updating that topic once a month and you're doing it once a year, you're going to fall right off the map.
Yep.
And that is primarily where Google is able to kill AI content, because if you've made 10,000 pages at scale, there's no way you have the resources to actually update those pages. So
I
that's how you get those quick upbeat charts, and then the quick declines is because you hit your time limit. Couldn't update them. Like you don't have enough team members to actually go through and make that content good quality. And then the second one is internal links. So that's another area where if you've made 10,000 pages, there's no way you can link them up really good, unless you've really like thought the whole process through from start to finish. So if you have, even if you have the best text in the world, like let's say you're ranking number 100, but secretly you have absolutely the best page on the planet, if it hasn't been updated in like a year and it has no internal links, it doesn't exist, you know?
doesn't
So
exist.
there's really easy ways for Google to detect and kill AI generated content. And nobody really looks at that stuff. They look at the content quality. They're like, oh, it's not good. It's bad. I did a bad job. I used crappy prompts, or maybe like I used better prompts than you, so I'm more successful with my content. But really there's all those like off-page factors. And then also like backlinks. If you're making money pages, you have no backlinks. Like good luck, you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. So updating the content, internal links, and the backlinks, I guess these three follows still have got a lot of credibility in SERPs, because Google, they always need a fresh content. I've seen actually a lot of people, they sometimes go about creating a dynamic content to put some dynamic numbers in their content, which could be like a population, it could be, some other statistics, and they keep on changing it. And that actually a little changes once in a month only gives them a kind of a good boost. And it can be done with a no-code solution as well, isn't it? So
Mhm.
yeah, oh, that's super cool. And Jonathan, I mean, like, tell us a bit about the your AI and SEO Academy. I'm a member as well. I know like there is a lot of things, and so yeah, what kind of a wisdom you are sharing inside the community, inside the academy with everyone?
Sure. So the AI SEO Academy is a free group where you can go to learn about AI and SEO.
Yep.
And Mostly what it is just a warehouse where I put all of the crazy things that I've built.
Yeah.
And I've recently broken it up into different sections. So I've got like GPTs,
Yep.
and I made those because like I really do think that a portion of AI, it should be free and accessible and easy to use.
Okay.
Um, so like that's why I go out of my way to make like GPTs and Python scripts that anybody can use, because I do think that part of it is just like essential knowledge that people should have access to.
True.
When you want to use like premium tools to automate like big stuff, that's a different thing. But if you're just like, I need to learn this stuff, where do I go? I'm trying to make like a good source for that.
Yeah.
So I've got GPTs, which are free and easy to use. I've got Python scripts that are a little more complicated. Like once you get the hang of using Python, you can use those. And plus, I host most of them on Streamlit with like a nice little interface, so
Yeah.
different than Moonlit, Streamlit, Moonlit, different things. Then I've got a bunch of Moonlit tools, and that's just because like I've been absolutely obsessed with Moonlit for the past year,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I can do this with it, and I still have run out of stuff that I can do, so I haven't really gone out into the marketplace to test out other tools. Um, and then I've even made courses on like how to build Moonlit tools, and then some of my older stuff that I've just thrown in there is like my Notion templates, a prompt database of old prompts that I've used. My SEO roadmap system, that was a whole like Notion thing I did a while back. That's in there as well.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna put all the AI SEO Academy and the other links probably in the video description as well once it goes live. Moonlight, Streamlit, rather than just hosting your own scripts, and think of making the money, which most of the people they are doing right now using the premium tools. But what do you think of giving it for free and not putting behind any kind of subscription? What was mindset behind that?
Yeah, so the mindset there is just I think it's just like a personal thing with me. Like I do believe that information shouldn't always cost money, you know?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I could use, and I did make this the AI Academy didn't used to be free. It used to be like $10 a month.
Yeah.
But then I made the decision I want it to grow faster. And so I made it free. And now we're at like 700 members. Not a lot, but it's growing faster. But I just wanted to make a good place for people to learn. And the surprising thing is the mix of people that join that group. Like you get some really established like agency owners and like people who have been software developers for years, and they're very comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
But there's way more beginners than I thought there would be, who they really like haven't touched SEO. They don't know anything about it. And for some reason they're choosing like the AI SEO Academy as the place to learn. I
Yeah.
think it's just because those people are like forward thinking. They're like, I should know about AI first before like learning all the other stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know, but there's a lot of beginners in that group, and I also want to make content that's friendly for them. That's why
Mm.
I go out of my way to really break things down and explain it, because I'm always operating from the context of like, okay, if you didn't know what any of this stuff was, would it still make sense? So I try and make it kind of beginner friendly as I go.
Oh, that's super cool idea, man. It's giving away. It's one of the best thing what I've seen, and it brings in a good karma as well. Because if something can help to change a life of someone in the form of their living or whatever, I think it is the best thing. And especially for these are online community. I mean, like I guess the everyone has taken some kind of a portion from online community in throughout their career. So yeah, it is actually a very good idea, I would say. So yeah, now
Yeah.
just a very final question, and we're good for the day, Jonathan. So, and this is something really not with the SEO. LinkedIn profile. I know like you're very aggressive at your LinkedIn profile at the moment. A lot of people have been starting out for me because all my focus was going on YouTube or even on Facebook and that kind of things. Although we did good over there. What are the best tips you're gonna give it to the people who, including muscle, who want
Oh yeah.
to grow good on LinkedIn? Because I've seen your growth graph. It is going very good actually on LinkedIn, but some people don't really get a proper foundation area to get started. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. So LinkedIn is a bit crazy. Like I think I'm at like 15,000 followers now. It's by far my most like successful channel.
Yep.
It's also the one I put the most work in though. Um, my beef with LinkedIn right now is that even if you have 15,000 followers and you make something cool, it's
Yep.
only there for like a few days. Like even if you make the coolest thing of the week, it'll be on LinkedIn for maybe 3 days and then it's gone.
It's
So that leads me to be like, I should be making more like long-term, longer shelf life content like YouTube and all that stuff.
Yep.
But anyways, for LinkedIn, when you're just getting started out, it's doing the legwork of like connecting with people.
Yep.
So you can do, I think the number is somewhere, I forget what the number is for how many connection requests you can do per day that's free.
Yep.
But if you just reach out and connect with people, no message, a high amount of people will actually just accept your connection.
Yep.
And that's how I got my first couple thousand, I think like first 2,000 followers
Yep.
was just doing that. And then, so people think I'm really active on LinkedIn. I'm actually not active on LinkedIn. I post once per week tops, and I maybe do a couple comments here and there. But
Yep.
people think I'm very active on LinkedIn because they see my content all the time.
Yep.
Where in reality, like I've maybe only posted once that week. Um, but the real big secret right now is just carousels. Like people on LinkedIn love carousels.
Oh yeah.
And like the bigger and juicier the carousel, the better. Like 10 slides is the minimum. And I can be a little lazy and I'll do like 10 slides sometimes. But if you really want to go out of your way, like make a 20 slide carousel or 30 or 40 slides and just really like share your knowledge and expertise.
Yep.
If you do that consistently, you're going to get a lot of reposts, which
Yep.
is the secret to, LinkedIn growth is reposts
Yeah. Is
because you
that
want to
Canva?
create that like viral network.
Canva you guys use for the carousel post, or is it something else?
Yeah, I just use Canva.
Canva, plain and easy.
Really good person to look at for like LinkedIn growth and carousels. Someone who absolutely like destroys me as far as like growth and numbers go is Anna York. So she's also doing like AI SEO stuff. And she kind of sticks to just like chat GPT, no like super advanced tools.
Yep.
But she's always posting these like big in-depth carousels of like how to do stuff. And she's grown like so much faster than me.
Is that all
So
right?
that's who you want to look at if you want to be like, how do I make carousels and grow my LinkedIn? Like, go check out Anna York. For
Yeah.
me, I'm just doing like a much smaller version of that, like on a much smaller scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy world actually. We just and all these AI tools and everything is really helping a lot. Yeah, no, thanks for that, Jonathan. I really appreciate all the knowledge and wisdom you have shared with us today. There was actually a lot of powerful information, I would say, as powerful as like your AI tools. So yeah. And for all the people who want to know more about you, want to connect with you, want to learn your stuff, obviously I'm gonna be putting the AI Academy thing too. What's the other place apart from that to get in touch with you?
Yeah, easiest place is LinkedIn. So I used to be in all these different communities in the SEO world, like on Facebook and Slack and stuff. But really, everybody is on LinkedIn these days, and it's become the last couple of years. It's really become the best place for the SEO community. I don't know why. It just is. So like, get on LinkedIn. Send me a request. I'll connect with pretty much anybody who sends me a connection request,
Oh yeah.
and you can get in touch with me there. Uh, just search my name. I'm one of the only like Jonathan Boshoffs out there, so I'm easy to find.
Yeah, no, I'll put your profile link over there as well in the video
Yeah, there
description.
is one other guy who's like a web developer, but that's not me.
Oh yeah, all right. No, I know you. I can see the face. All right. No, thanks for that, Jonathan. I really appreciate all the things and trust me, the a lot of questions I was not having in my mind, it just came around when we were talking about it, and that was really good. How long usually that it takes for you to actually go and build out these kind of apps on Streamlit? Is that really quick, or is that I mean the platform is very user friendly, or is that a back end coding kind of thing do happen over there?
It really depends. So like some apps, I cracked it on like the first try, and I
Yeah.
was like, I guess I'm done. And then I like went and like made my content about it. And other things, I have banged my head against the wall for days and days.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It really depends on what I'm trying to make and how complex it is. And I've done apps where I like speed run the whole thing on a Sunday. And I've also done apps where I like chip away at it for a good week.
Yeah.
So it's quite a range.
Yeah.
There's really no way to tell. And I don't plan ahead by like how much effort it's going to take. I'm just like, I'm gonna do this next, and then I just hammer away at it until I figure it out.
True. True. No. Thanks for that, Jonathan, and good luck for all the future endeavors as well, Mark. And definitely, we're gonna touch base. The more the AI grow, the more I need to touch base with you to actually get you on a call again for the people, because I know you're kind of a big deal.
Oh, thanks. It was good speaking with you, Rohan. It was a great
Yeah.
time.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.